I'm Victory Knight coming to you from Purdue University College of Veterinary Medicine, League of VetaHumanz. I'm your host on VetaHumanz Live today, and I'll be following on the journey of VetaHumanz in training Celestial Seraph.
Hi.
So thank you for being on the show today. So I know we've kind of started the semester. I know our last podcast was prior to the semester starting. So can you update our audience on what week are we in vet college, and how's it going so far?
That's a good question. What week are we in? Is this week 5? I haven't even been keeping track of that stuff. So far, so good though. I mean, nothing bad has really happened. So, yeah, so far, so good.
Okay, that's really good. So now that everything's kind of picking up, what would you say is your favorite course right now in the semester?
Uh, okay, I'm thinking about all the courses. Right now, I think I'm gonna say histology, but mainly because I know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Like last semester histology, like it was like all pretty new. We were like, oh, what is this? And now that it's just like histology 2, the format hasn't really changed and whatnot. And I love Dr. Figueroa. Like she's so calming. Like in her past life, she has had to have been like a kindergarten teacher or something. I love to hear her talk. It's so nice.
That's really sweet. What would you say, what topics have you been learning in histology?
Okay, so well, we just came from the exam. So definitely we're doing like renal and respiratory and hoof stuff. So of course it was like confusing at the first lecture for each of those sections, but then like when I actually like sat down and like went through it, I was like, okay, this actually sticks in my head. So
It's really good. And I know it's probably a little confusing with all the photos and everything. It's just trying to figure out differentiating everything. I can sure it's quite
hmm
hard, but I'm glad it's going well. It's gotten a lot easier compared to histology 1.
hmm
So now that also like labs and everything is picked up, what would you say is your favorite like lab? That could be wet labs or it can be labs that you've done in class.
probably maybe overall maybe like Neuro Lab, and I like anatomy lab too, but only when like I'm dissecting, because like when I'm dissecting it really helps me like go through whatever, but you can't dissect all the time. There's other group members, you have to give them their turn. So I would say maybe like Neuro Lab is like my favorite lab, and probably like when Dr. Tomovsky like showing all those videos of like different cranial nerve issues, because I know absolutely nothing about nerves. I think it's super confusing. But then she really like lays it out for you, and she's like, okay, well if you have this, then you have this. Like I feel like she also, like if she had a past life, like she would have also been a very good elementary school teacher, because she's really funny, really calming, and like she's like telling you like, okay, this is how it is. Like, and it doesn't feel like degrading in any way whatsoever.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, good. So you're kind of learning like the cranial nerves and like the neural examinations and everything. That's
Mhm.
very cool. Definitely very helpful, especially when you do your physical exams along with it. So, what would you say is also like the most interesting thing you've learned in all your classes? Like one of the most interesting ones.
Probably still like neuro, because again, I didn't know diddly squat about like cranial nerves. And then Dr. Tomovsky like makes it really like easy. Like when she was showing, gosh, I can't even remember the name for it, but it was like the two kind of ways when your eye rolls back, either to like the side or like up or down, or if you just have it just like stuck somewhere, then this is the ophthalmic whatever part that's being affected. So I would say that was the most interesting part. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. And I know you kind of mentioned that exams kind of already started. And so, what strategies have you been using this semester compared to last semester, like last year?
I'm still doing the same thing pretty much. I'm going through my objectives and making Ankis, except for anatomy. Last semester, I've never made any like Quizlets or Anki for like small animal anatomy, because I feel like Dr. Hannon's active lesson is good enough. Like all you have to do is like keep going on it every day and keep doing your quizzes over and over again, and it's like smooth sailing from there. But for this anatomy this year, we don't have active lessons. So I definitely wasn't making Ankis for that, because that would be like over 1,000 cards. So what I've been doing is like going through my lecture notes for anatomy and then screenshot like little pictures and then make a separate document, put those pictures on it, and then like color them out like the answers. So that way when I go back I can like press on that document, see the picture that's blocked out, and then just like try to like write next to it what I think that was. Like doing that, or like also writing out borders, or like why is that piece of body important? Why is that important? So, because I'm pretty sure she's gonna have that in an exam. But other than that, like for the other classes, it's been pretty much the same thing with using the objectives for my Anki, or like taking a loose leaf paper and writing certain concepts down a million times, like repetition. And that's pretty much been working strong for me.
Okay, good. So we're keeping the strategy the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've mentioned that the Anki and kind of the quizzes and everything's kind of worked. So I'm sure that's going to go well with large animal anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, what would you say is the biggest challenge that you've had like this past month, or like kind of going through your courses, and how you've been overcoming it?
My biggest challenge would, maybe, I would probably say like anatomy, because that class, like, as you know, I haven't really been changing my study habits, because that was like what was working for me. But then I realized with anatomy, that's just not gonna fly because I'm not making that many cards for an Anki deck. So I would say that class, because there's a lot to know. I don't have active lesson that's already set up for me, so I can keep doing it myself. I have to put in the work. Very sad. To like you know, make sure that I'm like doing active recall on my own. And it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. Like, even though it's supposed to be like comparative anatomy, where it's like, oh, I've seen this before in the dog. Like, sometimes that is not the case. Like with the horse, with the passive stay apparatus, like there's not that in the dog. Like the dog won't be standing forever like a horse will. So like doing that, and there's just a lot of parts.
No, yeah, I can definitely see why it's very challenging, especially like, or yeah, you think it's comparative, you see a lot of like, it's quite a lot more things that are new compared to, the
Mm-hmm.
dog and the cat. So definitely I could see the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know you overcome that challenge.
Thank you.
Kind of steering away from school a little bit, let's talk personal care. How has your sleeping and eating going?
Eating's been going fine. I mean, honestly, it's probably been going too good, because now I've been signing up for a lot of lunch and learns.
Mm.
And there was like one week, I don't remember if it was like last week or the week before, but I had a lunch and learn like 4 out of the 5 days of the week, and all of them were Chick-fil-A. I know that was so unhealthy. So it's like, yes, I have been eating. Has it been good stuff? Like chips every lunch is not that great, but I've still been going to the gym. So I'm like, I'll burn it off or whatever.
Well, that's
So
good. Making sure
yeah.
you get, yeah, I love that. And then I know your goal your goal that you mentioned in your last podcast was kind of work out your schedule for working in the ER. Were you able to meet that goal? Is that something you're still kind of working on?
Yeah, so I did talk to someone who forwarded my email to someone else, hadn't heard from them, and then my advisor is the lady that I started off with, like first with asking her and like dipping my toes into
Mm-hmm.
the ER. So she's my advisor. So when I met up with her this Tuesday, I was like, hey, remember that lady that you told me to go talk to? Haven't heard nothing. I emailed her back, and my advisor was like, let's fix that. So she personally took me to the person who does the scheduling. They gave me their email and said email it like as soon as possible, because there are like positions available. So I did that. So now all it is now is to like hear back the response, but it should be good. I mean, if nothing happens, I'm gonna like tell my advisor like I'm a rat. I'm a rat and be like, hey, Dr. Johnson, oh, yada yada yada. I still haven't heard no response, but let's hope it doesn't have to go that way.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I'm not upset about it, because at the same time, with how busy this semester has been, I'm still using it as like, okay, this is my schedule for now. Let me use this as a way that if I do get that ER job, I can like learn how to like rearrange my schedule so that ER job can fit in and still not feel burnout. So I could still go to the gym, still do taekwondo, still meal prep and wash my hair and all the personal care stuff.
Yes, that's great. Yeah, definitely putting those time skills and
Mm-hmm.
into play. Well, that's good. And so you also got into contact with her again, like the person I could actually. So that's really good. I know that was a goal of yours. Do you have a new goal set for next month?
For next month?
Mm-hmm. Or like, yeah.
What's next month? March, guys.
I know March we get some news, so I know we're waiting on that.
My new other than trying to get into the or maybe trying to like get more like extracurricular head positions. So there was one that I got from the Exotic Animal Club. So I got that. And then there was another one that I was applying to. And I'm really excited for that because it has to like deal with nutrition. I wanted to make sure that I at least get a head position role with at least one of the nutrition like groups because I've always like had an interest in nutrition, that and behavior. So I wanted to at least dip my toes into that as well. The deadline to like apply, today's the 14th. I think we still got some days, so they're still like receiving other people's like applications, whatnot. But I already sent mine in. Yeah, I think my goal is still pretty much to like get more extracurricular head positions. Because I know that looks really good when you do the matching for what is it called when you want to specialize, when you have to be an intern and stuff. They look at your resume, they look at all that you've done and whatnot, and I want to just show them that I've been really involved ever since like my first year in vet school.
Well, that's great. Well, congrats on your position in the exotics, and we'll hear back for the other position. Well, that's so good. What would you say is your biggest win in the past month?
My biggest win for the past month. I'm gonna say that so far that has been like all the exams that we've taken and the quizzes, straight A's, just A's. That's been my biggest win. And hopefully with the exam that we took today for histo, I also get an A on that. I feel pretty good about it. So I hope to keep that up.
Yeah, so congrats. Keep that going.
Yeah.
I know you've been working really, really hard, so that's
Yes.
really good. I just want to say thank you so much for being on the show.
Yes.
You can learn more about the other League of VetaHumanz at VetaHumanz.org. If you like this episode, please subscribe, rate, and share with your friends. And remember, use your powers for good.